In my last video we carried out a full service on my 2002 Porsche 996. Water pump, thermostat, ignition coils, spark plugs, an oil change, filter, and afterwards when I started the car up you probably remember the sound the exhaust made. Ow, it hurts my ears. This is because the previous owner did a silencer delete on this car. Now why the hell would you do that? Because it sounds absolutely awful and makes this car undrivable. And in today's video I'm going to fix that problem and build back better by installing this. Yes, they are valved stainless steel silencers. Aren't they just beautiful? I'll put a link in the description where I got these from, but yeah, these look like a really nice bit of kit. They've got the remote control so you can operate the valves from within inside the cab. And yeah, really looking forward to how these are going to sound. But I think what people don't realise, if you buy a car which has had these removed already, a lot of the hardware has been taken away and you haven't got it unless the previous owner has given you that hardware. In my case, they didn't. Because I've had to go out and buy all of this. First of all, we have these left-hand and right-handed exhaust mounting brackets. These are £324 each, direct from Porsche. But you know me, I went straight on eBay, I got these £75 each. Next I had to buy this exhaust mounting kit. So these have got the V-bands. V-bands are in there, a couple of the straight clamps, and the long and the short bolts which are going to go through that end and that end are all in this kit. Now also, in the end of these, you can see this part here. These are the dampers. So this bracket came with the dampers in that end, one there, but missing from that one. And strangely enough, this one again came with the same damper missing, but all the other three are there. So I've had to buy two of these dampers. Now they're £13 each, so probably not too bad, but yeah, luckily I didn't have to replace them all. Now also, if you look in the middle of here, you've got a sleeve. There's a metal sleeve that goes down, which is what the bolt's going to grip onto. And in this side, that metal sleeve is missing. And yet again, it was missing from this one. I've also had to buy a couple of these metal sleeves, which I had to get these manufactured. I think these were about £30 each from Porsche, but I just give my specifications to a company I found on eBay, and they just manufactured these for me. And they will slip straight in there, and they're held in place by these dampers, so they need to go inside the hole of the dampers like that. And then also, I've got a bunch here of M8 nuts and bolts. Now, you would only just normally need the bolts because there's 3 mounting points on here with threads on. But what happens when you try and remove these off an old car, these are rusty and very, very rusty. So as you can see here, these have been ground off to get it off the car. That means you lose this fixed thread. And on this side, we've got one that's been ground off. 2 are there. Very rusty. I don't know whether to grind them off myself and get rid of them, then just use these nuts and the bolts to bolt them together, because these are going to be more stainless steel and they shouldn't rust like those did. Now this kit comes with a big bag full of vacuum lines and all sorts of stuff here. I haven't a clue how any of that works. So I am hoping that I find instructions in there as well to which line you need to tap into to get the vacuum to operate the actual valves. That's further down the line. So first of all, what we need to do is get the hardware fitted by dismantling the existing pipe that's on there and get the new silencers in place and mounted firmly. I'll be selling this straight through pipe thing. So also I'll be selling these the tips and a bit of pipe that makes it straight through. If anybody wants to buy those, just message me, because these tips won't work on these silencers, because you need a special tip that's got a bit of an angle on it and then comes out the bottom of the car like that. So I'm going to leave these without tips at the moment. That's because I may have some other plans for this exhaust system. Let's get to it. Right, so let's remove this these rear tips really, which say come straight off the cats here, which would normally go into the silencer. And they're off, so yeah, if anybody wants these, drop me a message and we can do some sort of a deal. So I've popped in the dampeners and the sleeves, and I did a test fit of this one onto the right hand side of the car there. And to be honest, I think it's going to be easier if I just mount these plates first and then pop the exhaust over the top of these. So that's the method I'm going for. So let's get these plates mounted on the exhaust bracket on the side of the engine. Right guys, what I have decided to do, as these threads, you can see they're pretty rusted and horrible. I've decided there's only one left on this one anyway, because the other 2 have been ground off. So I'm going to grind that one off and we'll get rid of that, so I can have 3 nice nuts and bolts through there, and I'm going to do the same on the other one as well. Right, that's nice now. So we've got nice 3 clean holes that we can use. Looks like a face, doesn't it? Ah, don't put me on the car. Anyway, time to get these brackets fitted and then we can put the exhaust onto them. Right, so you can see here, this is the bracket that it came off. And look, I mean, this is quite rusty as well, but it's strong enough, so that's going to support the exhaust. That's not a problem. And then we're going to take this and it'll only fit one way because of the way the holes are. Right, guys, so I'm just looking at this and I've got the 3 holes in my bracket here. But look, none of these holes line up at all with this bracket. What's going on here? These are off a 996 because they've got the actual number on for a 996, yet this supporting bracket is totally different. I don't get it. Right, let me show you where I'm at then, guys. So this was the original bracket I've got. So these are the original holes. What I've done is I've made holes in this bracket which match up to the engine mounting bracket, and I've just put my 3 bolts in there. It's only loose at the moment. I've just had the exhaust up and it does fit in there nicely, so I think that's my solution. So I'm going to get these bolts tightened up and then we should be able to fit this one in, and then we've got to just go do the same on the other side. So there she is, that's one side in, so we've just got to go to the other side now and repeat the process. Well, brackets on, that's a heck of a job, that one. Whew. I managed to get it fit properly by just drilling those extra holes in it, and it's secure, it's good. So next, silencer. So that's all the metal work done, so now it's off to do the vacuum lines and all that sort of stuff. So, look what I found. This is a Spyder Performance Valvetronic exhaust, and looking on their website, they have installation instructions of how to do the vacuum lines. It looks quite involved, but hopefully I should be able to figure it out. But I'm going to take you guys through it stage by stage of how to do this. So let me show you what else you got in this kit. Right, so this is what you get in the actual kit. So you get a lot of vacuum line, you get an actuator, you get a control unit, obviously a fused power supply, a one-way valve, some T-pieces and 2 remote controls to activate and deactivate the solenoids. So let me show you. I'll put this picture up on the screen. So this is the picture of how it is all supposed to go. So you look like we're looking from the intake manifold to take the supply of a vacuum, and we're going to put that T-piece in so we can tap off through our one-way valve. The one-way valve is if you want this to start up in quiet mode. I don't think you need that one-way valve if you want to start up in noisy mode all the time. But I'm going to put mine in because I'd rather have the option of it starting in quiet, and then I can always make it noisy by pressing the button, which I probably won't do on my driveway anyway. That then goes into this actuator, and then when you connect the control unit, this is the one that will detect when you press the button on your remote control. So it will then tell the actuator to control the valves either open or close through the T-piece at the bottom. So this is going to be great fun, I think. All right. Right, so let me go through the instructions. I'm going to go familiarise myself with what it's asking me to do. And yeah, one thing, typical, I need to take the airbox out, which I'd only just put back in. Get the supplied silicone pipe and cut it in half. Right, so the next stage is to thread this silicone hose under the holes through the light trays, which is going to be that hole just in there. So that should be easy enough. So I'm assuming that's going to go down and come out. Let's see where that comes out. Right, so I'm going to go a different route, guys. So it tells you to go through that hole there, but that takes you behind the heat shield. Now, how the heck are you going to get that pipe through the heat shield? Because you can't, you'd have to take the heat shield off to do it. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go just down there where the engine mount is. So it's just behind the engine mount. I'm going to go straight down there and I'll show you where that comes out. So that then comes out here, so I've now got the pipe down to there. Now, see the screwdriver I pushed in? I've just lifted the heat shield up there, pushed the screwdriver under it and just wiggled it till the screwdriver is just poking through. So I'm just make that hole a little bit bigger with a bigger screwdriver, then hopefully I can poke the pipe through there, and that's kept it away from the heat. Right guys, first vacuum line is in, so it's plugged in there. Then at the top where the pipe comes out there, I put a little tar wrap and a little sticky tar wrap holder onto the body of the car, and that should now keep that well away from getting to the heat of the exhaust. And then I've gone and done exactly the same on this side. So here is the vacuum line. I've just pushed it down there, around the back of the engine mount, and then gone underneath. See the vacuum line there, the black line, that's gone underneath the heat shield there, and then I've brought it out of the heat shield and into the valve. Yep, now they're in place, let's go on to the next step. Yeah, so then I just run that vacuum tube along the back of the car, and I use a couple of those little sticky backed things to tar wrap it onto the metalwork of the engine bay. So as the next step says, what we need to do is take one of the Y pieces, well, I've actually sent T pieces this time, so we're going to put one of those 5cm vacuum tubes we just cut onto one end. Now what we need to do is take our 2 vacuum tubes that we've got, one from each side, and we're going to chop these and get these ready to fit on to that T piece. And connect these to the solenoid. So now we're going to use this solenoid here, which is obviously one of the factory ones, to supply some of the vacuum to our solenoid. So first of all, what we need to do is disconnect this plug, like so. We need to remove this top vacuum line here, like so. Now what the instruction says, take the next Y piece and fit 2 5cm pieces of hoses, one there and one there, and then use that one there to push in this thin line here. See the thin vacuum line? That'll go inside one of these hoses. But if you look on mine, mine's got this solid rubber piece here, which is going to be about the same size as the hoses I'm using. So I'm going to put my T piece right in there, and we've also then connected the longer 65cm part here. That's going to go back around the top of the alternator, back towards my new solenoid. So you're tapping into this vacuum supply here. Right, so we've tapped into that now. If you want the engine to be in quiet mode when it starts, then you need to put this one-way valve into this pipe here. So the vacuum can't escape when the engine is off. I need to get this line back towards the solenoid, which is going to be somewhere over here. We'll probably clip it to this pipe here to stop it flapping about. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut this pipe and put in my one-way valve in the middle of it, making sure that the flow is going that way, out towards my solenoid. Then this will fit into this part of the solenoid. So it's the bit that's just below the plug. Next stage is we take the control box here. So we have 2 wires coming out. One has got the plug and that's going to go to the new solenoid. The other one is going to supply power to this control box. And what you do is you cut off the terminal on the end of the red wire. And we're going to get that ready, because this is going to tap in to the wire that powers this solenoid here. So we need to take the wiring from this solenoid and peel back this rubber protective gaiter, and that exposes, you can't really get this gator that far back, but that exposes these two wires here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to tap our red one into that red one there. Now we do need to push the wire through the gator, but I'm just looking, and this gator, it doesn't look like it actually moves down. So what I think I might do is just poke an hole in the gator here, just so I can get my red wire through. Now I did already strip my red wire, but that's not going to be very good to poke through that hole. Or it might be actually, if I turn that over. Yeah, I might be able to poke that through. Let's see if I can poke that through the hole. Nice, there we go. Right, this is going to be quite hard, because what I now need to do is I now need to strip this red wire back a bit so I can connect this one to it. Right, I've managed to strip a little bit of wire there, so what we need to do now is wrap my red wire around that one. And then using my trusty soldering iron, just apply a little bit of solder to that joint. And then using my trusty meter, let's just see whether we have the 12 volts. So just make sure we still get the 12 volts in the plug, which we do. And just make sure I get 12 volts on my red wire there, which we do. So let's put a little bit of insulation on that now, just to keep it safe, even though it's inside this bit here. And put this plug back together and clip it back in place. Right, so just reading the instructions, and it's telling you to unplug something from this box, discard a wire from somewhere, and then wire up a plug like this to the end. Well, this box must be maybe a later version, because this box is fully wired with the plug that's going to go to the supplied solenoid, so you don't have to do any of that. So what we're going to do is now we're going to have to work out somewhere we need to mount this box. Now, one thing I'm thinking about is just under here, because there's like a flat place under there which it would mount nicely, and I think that'd be well out of the way. So I'm feeling underneath, and it feels like it's gone flat in an area like that. So I think, yeah, we'll use some sticky pads and we'll mount the box under there like so, and then we can push all the wiring just into that area there. Right, and then it's saying to mount the solenoid on top of the engine mount, and the earth here, which is from the control box. So we've got the positive wire has now gone to that plug there. This is the earth wire. That would reach nicely to there, look. So I think that's what we'll do. We'll screw the solenoid onto there. Yeah, so I'm going to put the solenoid further back out the way using the other hole. That's a bit harder to get to. Right, solenoid's in a good place. I should be able to get the plug in. Plug's going to go on the back of the solenoid. I think I'm going to bring it in from this angle. Right, so that's all in. So now it's a matter of just mounting this control box and then just tidying up the wiring. Just clean under there, make sure the sticky pads will stick nicely. Then using some isopropyl alcohol to remove any grease. It's going to stop those pads sticking. You don't get any pads supplied in the kit, so I'm just going to use my own that I've got here. So if I could do all these in one go, but I'm going to have to do them individually. Right, here we go. Feels good, feels solid. Right, just need to tidy up now. Right, so there we go, guys. That's the final position. Red wire coming out there, as you can see. Black wire touching earth on the engine mount. The solenoid is mounted on the engine mount. Plugs in the back. All wiring up there. Control box stuck under there. That's well out of the way. Looks well tidy. When we get that other unit back in here, you won't even see any of that. So let's replace all the items back in here. Right, it's all back together. So now let's have a listen at these exhausts. hopefully the better than the wear. Let me open all the doors because I need to let the exhaust fumes out of this place. But we'll do a cold start, we'll let it warm up, then we'll do a few revs. Well, it's sounding better already, but we'll let it warm up, then we can do a few revs. Right, here we go, we'll start with the valves closed just to see what she'd sound like in normal mode. And then we'll open them and see what she sounds like in Fury mode. Wow, that sounds absolutely fantastic when they're open. It sounds better than it did when it was just straight through pipe now, and when it's closed it's going to be perfect for those just long journeys. It's not going to be droning on the motor or anything like that, but I've got the option now from a little remote control to switch either way. Brilliant. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. I've now made my car sound way better. Very happy with the end result of that. I'll stick the links below to Spyder Performance where you can get this exhaust from, and also I'll put the links in for the installation instructions and the diagram, etc. If you can do this to your car, have some fun. Just follow this video and hopefully you shouldn't have any problems. It went quite easily, to be honest. So I hope you enjoyed this sort of thing. Now if you do, don't forget to subscribe to this channel because that really does help me with the analytics for YouTube. And don't forget to give it a thumbs up as well because that also helps. Till the next time, stay safe.